All right, we got 2 games down. There's only one of our predictions that's absolutely wrong. That's mine because I picked a Denver sweep. This is Pass the Rock, presented by Lost Tribe.
Could one of y'all pass the gosh darn rock? Hey, yo, I'm trying, I ain't lying, and hosting this will be Brian. Yeah. Posting like Kobe Bryant, yeah. Flying to see the pie. Yeah. Hit the hezzy, we got Jesse, opinions get kinda messy. A fan of out of lefties, from football to racing jet skis. He go silly when he go deep, sheesh, is Zach Zeman. Teaming up with Jack, we stack the whole team, man. Pass the rock, don't stop the shot clock. Woo. Smack the slap shot, come on, now let's talk. Pass the, yo, partner, pass the rock, for real.
All right, we're going to start today's show with a little segment we haven't done in a while, breaking news. I know Jack's brain is about to explode. He doesn't know what the breaking news is, and the other two people do. So here it is. Pass the Rock will be at the NBA Summer League this summer. Jack, pack your bags. We're going to be there in person. Thoughts?
I love it. I love it. This is literally brand new to me. I'm hyped. That sounds sick.
So get your interview skills ready. We're going to be at NBA Con. We're going to go to a few games. We're going to be talking to fans. Hey, maybe we'll even catch up with Luka Doncic and we can ask him the questions that I always wanted to ask him. Do you think you're ever going to get to the NBA Finals? Who knows? But over to you, Zach. How was your weekend? Big moment from the weekend, in your opinion.
Oh, man. My weekend was pretty good. I mean, you shared that news earlier today with me, and that might have been the highlight of my weekend, even though it's a Monday. But, seeing both of the first two NBA Finals games, the first game, it felt like a squash from the beginning. Nothing was working for the Heat. But then game two being the polar opposite, we have a very interesting series going on here. There's a lot to talk about. I'm really excited to get into the show.
Jesse, big moment from the weekend.
Big moment from the weekend is I was still able to watch game two from a wedding reception in which I was at last night. I had the old phone under the napkin. Still enough reception inside the banquet hall. So it was great to see the Heat come back, steal game two. My Nuggets in 5 is still sound, although I did not think that the Heat would get one in Denver. So back to Miami. We'll see if Nuggets in 5, Nuggets in 6, maybe even Heat in 5. So we'll see what happens.
I love the covert watching of a sporting event at a wedding. I will tell you, I skipped my first cousin's wedding to go to the very first Saints home playoff victory. And I got all kind of bad press in the family about it. But everybody at that wedding was in the bar watching the same game. So what's more disrespectful, not being there or not paying attention to the bride?
And let me just say, the groom did come over to watch a little bit next week, so.
All good. Obviously, he didn't set the wedding date. Over to you, Jack. Big moment for the weekend.
Oh, man. I mean, for me, I went to the Yankees-Dodger game on Friday night, and that was electric. I mean, there's nothing quite like having two historic brands clash with each other on, like, the biggest stage. And the Dodgers jumped out to a 6-0 lead in the first inning. It was beautiful. So I don't want to talk about the other two games of the series that we dropped, but the one that I was at, we won 8-4. It was a beautiful day, and there's nothing quite like seeing the Yankees and Dodgers battle it out.
Was that the game? That's not the game that Judge broke the fence, was it?
No. That was the next.
Yeah. That was the next. Okay. Awesome. No, I think the Yankees is one of those uniforms when you're at a game and you look out there and you're like, there's the pinstripes. I remember in college, Notre Dame came to LSU and just seeing those gold helmets. I have no overly respectful view of Notre Dame, but those helmets are gold as it can be. And so that was pretty legit to see that live. But all right, so let's start breaking down the NBA Finals. We got a series. It's tied 1-1. Watching the game yesterday, all I could think about was, of course, Denver's going to, shut this down. Of course, they're going to shut this down. And they tried to come back way at the end, but too little, too late. So I'm going to start with you, Jack. Biggest takeaway from game 2?
Look, to me, the Miami Heat figured out the recipe to beat the Denver Nuggets in this series. And it sort of stems from something that actually I heard Mark Jackson say on the Game 1 broadcast. And he was talking about how if he was coaching the Miami Heat, what he would do is he would focus his energy defensively on making Jokic be the primary scorer and sort of taking away all of his passing opportunities and really forcing him to be the offense. And I don't know if Eric Spoelstra was listening to the broadcast or what, but that is exactly what the Heat did in game 2, and it worked to perfection. Jokic, of course, he had his 41 points, which was unbelievable because, I mean, you can only do so much, but they really took away his ability as a passer. He only had 4 assists in that game. He had 5 turnovers, which I don't remember the last time that Jokic had a negative assist to turnover ratio. But he did in game 2, and a lot of those surrounding pieces for the Nuggets, the KCPs, the Michael Porter Jr.'s, the Aaron Gordons, even Jamal Murray struggled a bit to find open shots because Jokic just wasn't able to create those opportunities because of the way the Heat were playing defense. And I really think that this is a big swing in the series. I mean, the Heat have done something in this game that no one else to this point in the playoffs has figured out how to do. And that is actually take away a piece of Jokic's offensive game, which is it's pretty monumental. So honestly, I believe in the Heat a lot more than I did coming into the series right now. I actually do see a realistic world where they end up winning the championship if this ends up sticking and the Nuggets aren't able to make an adjustment. Now, at the same time, Michael Malone's an amazing coach. I'm sure he'll find a way to adjust. But this is a huge development in the series and that the Heat have actually found a way to slow down Nikola Jokic.
I can guarantee you Eric Spoelstra was not watching the broadcast to hear Mark Jackson's analysis, but I do think you're right that it's what you have to do. Like, okay, if Jokic scores 55, we'll see where we are, but just take that little bit out of his game where he's such an unbelievable passer. But over to you, Zach. Takeaways from game 2.
Look, I saw earlier today that there's a rumor going around that Eric Spoelstra's next contract could be upwards of $20 million a year. And there's very good reason for that. I mean, he literally has been able to use every single player on his roster to adapt and figure out the puzzle that is, what do you do with Nikola Jokic? He left him alone. He let him drop 40. He made him a primary scorer, which Jokic is used to dealing and wheeling and getting tons of assists. But the Heat were able to shut that down. So being able to figure out how to make a Jokic 40-point game not matter at the end of the day, I think that's really impressive. And, I mean, there's a really good case for Eric Spoelstra being the best coach in the NBA. Game 2 really proved that for me.
Yeah, I mean, you essentially stole my take, which was Eric Spoelstra might be doing the best coaching job in NBA history other than when LeBron coached the Cavs to a championship. I mean, he, every single situation, the Chicago game they should have lost in the play-in. They did lose to Atlanta in the play-in. Then they run through the Bucks. I mean, every step of the way, he's shown that he is a page ahead of all of his peers. So just a great coach job. Jesse, over to you. Biggest takeaway game 2.
I'm kind of, left at a loss here because I think these two took away basically exactly what I was going to say is that the Heat found a way to make this 40-point outburst from Jokic mean absolutely nothing. And the Nuggets are 0-3 in the playoffs when Jokic has scored 40 or more. The one game they lost to the Timberwolves, it was kind of the same story. Jokic had 43 and 6, and nobody else on the team did anything. They only scored like 108 total points in that game. So they found a way to neutralize him. One of the games they lost to the Suns where Jokic had 53 and 11 still, they just found a way to, outside of Jamal Murray and Jokic, nobody in that game really did much and made a difference. And so this seems like a very clear strategy at this point. Let Jokic get his, because you're in a very bad place, just like when the Lakers were, winning games when LeBron wasn't doing that much. It's because everybody else was getting involved. Like if Jokic only has 15 to 25 points and the Nuggets are winning, that's the Heat's absolute worst case scenario, because that means Bruce Brown and KCP and all those guys are putting in 10 to 15 points, and Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter are putting in 15 to 20 points. Jamal Murray might have another 35-point game, and Jokic can just sit back and relax. Well, not actually relax because he's at the horse, he's running the horse of the offense. So at the end of the day, Jokic scoring 40 is great, but we have a series and we're going into Miami, and people say, the series does not start until a home team loses a game, and we've got a series started.
Yeah, Zach and I looked it up before. It is a 2-2-1-1-1 series. So because you always worry in the NBA Finals that you steal one as the lower seeded team, and then all you have to do is win your home games and you're
Did
done.
you think it was 2-3-2 still?
I just questioned whether it was or not.
Do you
When's
think
the last time
do
it
you
was
think that round
2-3-2?
one
I
is
feel like
still
it wasn't
5
that
games?
long ago.
At
What's
least
that?
10 years ago.
Is it that long?
Do you think
I
that
don't know.
round one is
Yeah.
still 5 games?
No.
Because I know the Nuggets only played 5, but it's because they won 4.
Yeah, I know how the NBA works. Thank you.
Just making sure.
Tyler Hero, let's talk about that. Hero's experiencing soreness and swelling in his shooting hand. He says he wants to come back. He says he's open to not coming back. What's the right answer with Tyler Hero? Jesse, since everybody stole your opinions, you get to go first.
Well, that's actually breaking news to me. I didn't know that he was experiencing this soreness and was considering maybe not even coming back. I think that's the best option because he is for sure not taking minutes from Gabe Vincent, who is their hero and leading scorer from game 2. They're not taking away Kyle Lowry's minutes, even though some people might like to, but he's a veteran in the playoffs, and he's got the effort you want to be there. They're not taking away Duncan Robinson's minutes after he, spat off a 10-0 run basically by himself late in the game. Max Strus was huge in the first half. He had he's earning his minutes, and Caleb Martin was 1 vote shy of the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So all of these role players are playing pretty well right now, and in a series where you're only really running 7 or 8 players deep, it's hard to imagine they're basically second option offensively coming back into the fold seamlessly. Like it's not going to happen. So I think at this point, Tyler Hero is gonna. I think his best option is to just not play and see how the Heat are tied right now. It's 1-1, and I think that at this point, Tyler Hero should just take it easy, not rush himself back and face getting re-injured.
Over to you, Zach. Thoughts on Tyler Hero taking a starter you've had all season and telling him now's not the time?
Well, I'm right there with Jesse. I really think you need to keep him out. You don't want to mess up what they have going on. An 8 seed making a run to the finals is not something that you expect. You don't plan for that. You don't expect that. And as soon as Hero goes out is when the Heat start to get hot and they run through the playoffs and they run all the way to the finals. And you're going to tell me you want to bring back Tyler Hero for game 3, 4, 5, whenever, and you want to trust his questionable shooting hand in the NBA Finals? You're going to tell me you'd rather put the ball in Tyler Hero's hands right now when he's barely going to get any experience on the floor if he does come back? Would you rather put the ball in Tyler Hero's hands or pretty much anyone else on the Heat that's playing? Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, well, he'll obviously get it. I don't think it's worth bringing back Tyler Hero. You don't want to mess up the rhythm that this team has going on. I think he needs to sit out, wait for next season to come back, and just, cheer for his team, coach them, get some coaching experience. Just sit it out, Tyler.
Jack, any different opinion?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it would be a mistake to sort of put him right back into the starting lineup and give him everything that he had before he went down. But I also think it would be a mistake to not really give him an opportunity at all to see the floor. I mean, this is a very, very good basketball player and someone that has played at a high level throughout his career for the Miami Heat. I think that they really should give him the opportunity to play, but I also think they sort of need to stick to their philosophy in that nothing is guaranteed. They shouldn't be guaranteeing him a starting role with playing 30 minutes a game, no matter how he's playing. The way they've sort of operated in these playoffs is whoever's playing well is going to see the floor. Caleb Martin basically won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and then played 21 minutes in Game 2. Kevin Love was out of the rotation completely and then ended up starting in Game 2. I mean, nothing is guaranteed for this Miami Heat team, and it's really whoever is playing the best in that moment. Mm-hmm. And to me, I think they owe it to Tyler Hero to give him the opportunity to show up, but I also think that if he doesn't show up, they need to be quick to pull that trigger and get him out of there.
I don't even think I don't think he should have to show up. I don't think the Heat owe it to him. At the end of the day, it's a team sport. It's the entire team that made this run. This isn't a situation where it's one guy dragging a team to the finals like LeBron has a number of times. It isn't the case where it's a few stars who headline a squad and then a few role players, highlighting the bench and keeping things at bay while the stars rest. It is a complete team game that the Heat are running. You need to stick with what you have. You can't ruin the momentum. You can't ruin the rhythm. If you bring back Tyler Hero, you have to give him the sparsest of minutes. You have to just put him in to have him say, I played in the NBA Finals. Like, I really don't think you should mess with what you have going on. But if there's any coach I would trust to figure out this balance, it would be Eric Spoelstra.
Look,
you dress him out. I think you dress him out for sure, right?
Yeah.
And I think you give him 0 to 2% chance of coming in because you just got this thing going. And a hand injury is so, especially on a shooting hand. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What are we putting in? I mean, we're not talking about LeBron. We're not even talking about Aaron Gordon at this point, about impact.
Well,
It's
look,
the biggest thing.
I think Tyler Hero is not just another one of these role players. Tyler Hero is like for sure
fully healthy. Correct.
He is better than everyone on this Miami Heat roster.
Fully
healthy, except for Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Mm-hmm. I think that if they believe that there is an opportunity to get that player on the floor, you have to get him on the floor. I mean, that is too much value to just leave on your bench because what you have is working. I understand being cautious about it because obviously you don't want to mess up what you have going. And I think Spoelstra, like you said, Zach, is the perfect guy to sort of figure out how to navigate it. But I also think it would be a mistake to just leave him on the bench when, I mean, it is a bit of a mystery, but you know that the potential is just so high with Tyler Hero. Mm-hmm. If you get the ball in his hands and he starts playing well, that could be a piece that wins the Heat a championship. And that's not an exaggeration.
My only thing, the biggest part about this entire story is that it's a hand injury, a shooting hand injury. If this was an injury to most other places on the body, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't be that concerned about him coming back. Maybe it would just be like, okay, like, yeah, he can like play. It'd be fine. It'd be great. But because it's a shooting hand, I kind of see it as a possible liability. The only way I can see him playing right now is if someone else who is playing is having a really bad night and he comes in and fills in for them for their bench minutes. I'm just worried about how effective his shooting will be when it's going to be questionable at best. Let's be realistic. He's not going to be 100% when he comes back. He will be questionable. So I feel like it's just a liability. You got to stick to what you have.
Look, to me, it's Eric Spoelstra. He's going to make him like the late 90s Jason Williams. He's going to come out and he's just going to be passing all over the place because you think he's going to be a shooter. And that's what the end is going to be. So just think about that. All right, let's move on.
Caleb Martin, my last thing, Caleb Martin was effectively useless in game 2. If he's going to keep playing like that in the finals, I know how good he was in the ECF, but if he's going to keep playing like that in the finals, I'd rather take a chance on Tyler Hero.
Yeah. Okay. Who needs to step up from Denver outside of the top 2? I'm going to take this one first. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Jamal Murray's got to step up. I know he's considered the top 2, but you need to get 20. You need to at least get 20 if you're Murray. It was just ridiculous seeing that last night. That was the reason they couldn't get over that hump of being down 4, and then they go back to 10, and they just couldn't get that lead back in the second half. Secondly, I'm going Aaron Gordon. Come on. 15 points a game is what we need from you. If he gets 15, they're not going to lose a game, right? He did all right last night, especially because he had to pick up for Murray. But we need a couple threes. We need a couple of putbacks where you just put your butt on somebody, move them out the way, and grab the ball and score. To you, Jack.
Look, to me, the one and only answer is Michael Porter Jr. He was so bad in game 2. I mean, he was so bad to the point that he wasn't on the floor in the closing lineup. Bruce Brown was playing over Michael Porter Jr. And it made sense. I mean, Porter had 5 points on 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. He was basically useless. He played 26 minutes, and those were his stats. So this is a guy with all the talent in the world, right? He's a phenomenal shooter. And he's big and lanky. He can be shifty and create his own shot. The problem is The guy is dumb. He has terrible shot selection. He's an awful passer. He just needs to be more selfless. He needs to look for the open man, not just pull up every time he touches the basketball, and just have better shot selection. If he can get himself more open looks, he can shoot that ball because he is a really good shooter. But I can't stand to watch him keep chucking up 8 shots a game and just bricking them because there's a hand in his face every time. So, yes, if the Nuggets want to win this series, it's on Michael Porter Jr. to step up.
Yeah,
I'm never passed up a shot he didn't like. Going to use that.
I'm just going to quickly hop on Jack because I had the same answer. It's Michael Porter Jr. To me, he should be getting 15 and 10 every single time he plays. 15 points and 10 rebounds. And because of what Jack said, he's taking bad shots. He wasn't doing enough down in the boards for game 2. He had MPJ has the potential to be that great third option for the Nuggets, but he's getting in his own way doing so, especially with the shot selection that we saw in game 2. There's a reason why he's not considered to be part of like a Nuggets big 3 or something like that. MPJ is holding MPJ back. He needs to play better. He should be getting 15 and 10 every night. 5 and 6 in game 2, it's not going to cut it.
I think it reminds me of the Bill Parcells quote, like, you are what your record says you are. Like, if you're, 4-3 and you're like, oh, but we lost those 2 close games, you're still 4-3.
Oh, you're still 4-3.
I think out of KCP, we've seen who he is, and this is who he is. I don't think he's ever going to transcend to something like tremendously better than this.
I mean,
Jesse, your thoughts on that and or your pick for who needs to step up for Denver? Oh, you're muted. We're calling Jesse's new nickname is Tech Difficulty.
Change my to this. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
And back.
Yeah, Fad's back.
You can't win with this. I think it's only when I talk because that's when the mic turns on. I'll keep it quick. Michael Porter, expect him to get 10 rebounds a game, and also he's not a passer. Like Brian said, he's never seen a shot he didn't like. I think it's Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon needs to have 20 a night in the series. He needs to use the body down low. They're sending all the big body attention that they have, which is like 2 guys in Udonis Haslem at Nikola Jokic, and that Aaron Gordon just simply needs to dominate like he did in game 1. He had like 22 in game 1. That needs to happen every night. He needs to get on the block. And I think Aaron Gordon's the key. And honestly, like you said, Michael Porter Jr. hasn't been playing great. Bruce Brown needs to step up too. And he did step up at the end of that game. And I think that they need a solid 12 to 13 points from Bruce Brown every night. And I love me some Bruce Brown. So I think that he deserves minutes in their very short lineup. Like, the Nuggets are not that deep of a team. They run like 8 deep, and that's about it. But that's usually all you need in the NBA Finals. So it's between Bruce Brown and Aaron Gordon for who needs to step up the most.
I just want to say one more thing about Michael Porter Jr. as a passer. I'm not saying he needs to be a passer. I think that he just needs to not chuck up a double team 3 whenever he touches the ball. And sometimes you need to pass out of that to not make that a turnover or a missed shot. I'm not asking him to be Jokic as a passer. I just don't want him to be dumb.
Yeah, you're just asking.
It's not actually contested
line,
because he just jumps so high that it's not actually that contested anymore. He's like a guy who shoots when he's coming down. That's how long he waits to shoot the ball.
Yeah, he's a George Costanza. He's the chucker of this group, right? The ball just goes into the black hole and then it's dead.
Never comes out.
If he's not making it, then he's not making it. Rest of series prediction, Jesse.
I don't want to be boring and say Nuggets in 6, so I'm going to stick to my guns and say Nuggets in 5. Yes, the Heat figured something out, but I think Michael Malone's going to figure something out again. Storm back, Nuggets clean this thing up. Everybody can be on their summer vacation by mid-June.
Jack?
Yeah, look, I mean, my original pick was Nuggets in 5, but I honestly, I was so impressed with what the Heat did in game 2 that honestly part of me wants to say Heat in 7, but I don't think I can be that aggressive yet. I do still think the Nuggets are overall the better team, so I'm going to go with Nuggets in 7.
Zach?
So I'm sticking with my original prediction, Nuggets in 6. I can see them taking a game in Miami and then finishing it out with those last 2 games. I mean, we've talked a lot about Eric Spoelstra and Michael Malone, 2 great coaches. And then, if you have 2 great coaches, it comes down to the team composition. And overall, still, the Nuggets overall are better as a unit than the Heat. So I'm going to go Nuggets in 6, as I originally said.
Yeah, I can't go. My original prediction was Nuggets in 4, so that's already dead. I'm going to go Nuggets in 5. I think we're all overreacting a little bit to what happened last night. I think Denver regroups. They have 6 days or something before the next game, so they can regroup, figure it out, get their legs under them, and they go down to Miami, take care of business, 2 straight, then come home and win it. All right, let's get to some other NBA news. The Mavs and LeBron, okay? Because we can't get through, 6 hours without talking about LeBron. The trade rumors couldn't wait till after the finals, but Ja Morant's suspension is going to wait till after the finals. So what's going on with the LeBron to the Mavericks? Is it real? Is it not real? Is it Kyrie Irving or is it LeBron saying this? I'm going to start with you, Zach, since you look the most perturbed.
So the whole situation, Kyrie is calling up LeBron saying, hey, you should join the Mavericks. He's telling the Mavericks, hey, you guys should trade for LeBron. And Kyrie Irving's still a free agent this year. So we don't even know if Kyrie's guaranteed to stay, even if the Mavericks make this deal for LeBron. So it's all really weird. I don't think it'll end up happening. I think the situation is just so bizarre. Not that, LeBron and Kyrie reuniting would be bizarre, but just I can't see LeBron in a Mavericks jersey. I just cannot process that in my brain. I don't see it happening. But
I think
if it does happen, right? Say in this hypothetical world, somehow, some way, the Lakers and Mavericks agree to terms to trade LeBron James. I wouldn't be shocked if Twitter became flooded with a lot of Cowboys, Yankees, and Mavericks fans because all 3 teams all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think in the end, you sign Kyrie. The only way to get LeBron is you sign Kyrie, then you trade him to the Lakers. That's the only way you can pull back LeBron. Jack, over to you. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with you, Zach. Like, I just have such a hard time seeing it. I don't really buy it. I think it's Kyrie speaking, honestly. I think this is coming from Kyrie. And I think that, honestly, as a Lakers fan, I wouldn't be that opposed to trading a 38-year-old LeBron to Dallas if they were to give us an absolute haul. But the thing is, I don't think they have a haul to give.
They don't have anything.
like as far as the players on the roster, the only one that I would want is Luka Doncic, and they're not going to trade Luka Doncic for 38-year-old LeBron. And the rest of the team, there was no one as far as players. They gave up picks to Brooklyn in the Kyrie trade. I know they still have some because I'm pretty sure they only ended up giving up 2 firsts in that Kyrie trade. So I'm sure they still have some draft capital, but they don't really have enough to get LeBron. I understand he's 38 years old, but he's still one of the top 10 players in all of basketball. I think that they just don't have the assets to do it, even if they're, for some reason, in their heads, think that they're able to pull it off.
They gave up a 2029 first-round pick, unprotected, and 2 second-rounders. So they got plenty of firsts.
Yeah, but like, would the Lakers really trade LeBron just for a bunch of first-round picks? Because I feel like sort of the mold for trading for a superstar in today's NBA is like a good young player and a bunch of picks. The Mavs don't have that good young player, like, at all, unless you're trading Luka, which is just not going to happen. But they're really just, they don't have that guy to sort of pair with those picks to make it happen.
I don't know. If I had a 38-year-old, I might trade him for 3 first-round picks.
I was going to say, hate to burst your bubble there in the comments, Rosenberg, that you guys have the same mind. It doesn't take a genius to say that the Mavs have nothing on their roster. Jack, I actually like the idea to say, okay, Kyrie, you want him here? We're going to sign Kyrie, ship him to the Lakers, bring LeBron in so he can play with his nephew Luka, and then you got the LeBron Luka, connection. They're both under the same. I mean, I know Luka's under the Jordan brand technically, but I think it would be great to see LeBron and Luka play together. Let Kyrie go play with AD as a little experiment there. Lord knows the Lakers.
That's a lottery team.
the Lakers need a guard because they're not going to keep D'Angelo Russell after what just happened. Maybe D'Angelo Russell goes to the Mavericks as well. Find his way out of town.
This honestly, the more we talk about it, the more it sounds like a lose-lose situation. Even if Kyrie stays with the Mavericks, I can't see them even making it that far in the West. Like it just feels like a lose-lose for both teams.
You'd sell a lot of jerseys though.
It would sell a lot of jerseys. I'm not worried about their financial stability. I'm worried about their ability to compete because they're going to have LeBron, Kyrie, and Luka, and then just
no
it's
one
too
else. Perfect. Luka wears 77. LeBron wears 23. It adds up to 100.
Wow, amazing!
That's like genius math.
Genius
right there.
And what does 100 symbolize?
The amount of nothing.
How many points they'll give up in 3 quarters?
Yeah. Yeah, honestly,
how many millions they're going to have to pay LeBron to stay?
They're going to be a team of 3 players, so 3 quarters to give up 100 points. Perfect.
Done. All right. Who is the one NBA player we shouldn't be sleeping on going into next year? Going to use that.
So I do want to quickly, shout out my Sixers. I really think Tyrese Maxey could take a huge step forward under Nick Nurse because he did a lot of good work with Fred VanVleet and, with guards in Toronto. I'm just saying I could totally see Maxey elevating to, higher star potential, but I'm really interested in Tyrese Halliburton right now because he's already seen as a very good point guard, but the Pacers have the number 7 pick and there's a lot of interesting power forward and shooting guard prospects that could really help out the Pacers right now. So depending on how the lottery falls, depending on how the draft falls to them, I could see them getting Tyrese Halliburton help, and I can see him really elevating his game next season.
All right, Jesse, I love your answer, so I want to hear more about it.
I'm just going to say, Zach, it hurts me to say that Nick Nurse wanted Tyrese Maxey when he was on the Raptors, and now he's got him. And unfortunately, it meant leaving the Raptors to get him. But I think that he's going to do great things next year as likely maybe the starting point guard for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But my answer, Trey Murphy III is going to be the best second option on the Pelicans next year. And that's because I don't know if Zion is going to actually play, if Brandon Ingram's going to play the whole season. Trey Murphy's the guy who's going to play 75-plus games for the Pelicans, average a cool 20 points a game, and be just a phenomenal player. I mean, he's got an insane frame. He won the dunk contest, and he's a phenomenal shooter. He should have been in the three-point contest. Honestly, I was a little more surprised that he was in the dunk contest, but I think he's phenomenal. He's going to be one of the best players in the NBA in a couple of years. He's already amazing. He jumped from like 4 points a game last year to 15 in just his second season. And he's a great player. He's like 6'10", insane wingspan. He's the guy who is he's kind of like a Victor Wembanyama, but like 7 inches shorter, but still got that type of frame. So I think Trey Murphy's going to be phenomenal for the Pelicans next year. And Brian, if only I can find his jersey. Can I find a Trey Murphy jersey anywhere in New Orleans?
You're talking about my man Kenneth Trey Murphy III. And let me just say that sadly,
they don't sell it anywhere.
Sadly, no, they sell it in the Pelican shop at the Smoothie King Center. We just couldn't get in at Mardi Gras. What you forgot though is that he lost the dunk contest to a YouTuber. So he came in second though.
I didn't say he won it. He was just in it.
How was my NBA Finals this year? Let's go!
Oh my god! Awesome. All right, Jack, over to you. Big impact player next year.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love the Trey Murphy pick. My guy is definitely more obvious than that. And for me, it's Anthony Edwards. I mean, this is a guy that has been steadily improving every single season of his career. This was his third season. I think he's raised his scoring average by like 3 points per game steadily each season so far. And I think he just continues to take another step forward next year. I mean, Anthony Edwards is an elite level scorer. He is one of the best scorers in all of basketball. And I think he's going to continue to improve. I'm a huge fan of his game. And I think next year, not only does he sort of like come into his own as a true superstar, the number one guy, the face of that Timberwolves franchise, I think he sort of overtakes that mantle from Cat next year. And I think that he's going to sort of start to push his way into the top 10 NBA players conversation because I really do think he's that good.
I think he absolutely is going to be all NBA in the next 2 years.
I love that pick. I think that he does the little things to get him to the finals or to win a championship. And I think when you look at him and Luka, they both have an equal amount of not producing any talent around them to do anything. But I do think I like him to get to the finals before Luka, just because he does play it the right way. He plays defense. He's always building up his teammates. I love that guy. I went negative. So the question was, what NBA player we shouldn't be sleeping on going into next season? I chose Anthony Davis. Now, the reason I chose Anthony Davis is because if LeBron leaves, watch the dismantling of the Lakers happen with him as the leader. He is not a leader. He's terrible at being the alpha. And
You're saying we should be sleeping on
You're
him.
saying we should sleep on Anthony Davis?
I took it more as who is a bigger, who makes a mark next year in the NBA. I went negative.
So you're saying Anthony Davis is going to be making.
So don't sleep on how terrible he's going to be as an alpha.
Wow.
Because it's going to be bad. I don't like the way he operates when he has to be the alpha. He's not the guy that wants to be in front of the camera when it's interview time. He's not the one that's going to stick up for his teammates when it's time to stick up for his teammates. He had Boogie and Nola. He had Drew and Nola. He's got LeBron now. I'm just saying, if LeBron is not on that team, I think you're going to see the dismantling of the Lakers to where they wish they had taken those 3 first-round picks from the Mavericks.
Well, the good news is he won't have to be the alpha because Austin Reeves is in the building.
What's funny is I was writing my comment out, and I was like, should I say something about Austin Reeves? So good job. Good job. All right. Let's get to a little, what they say down in New Orleans, a lagniappe or a little extra. And let's talk a little bit about the Madden 23 cover athlete. Over to you, Jesse.
All right, so we are the Madden cover. Let me actually just pull it up. The Madden 23 cover athlete is being announced this Wednesday. Who do you think should be on the cover of Madden 23? So there's a couple players in the mix here. We got Justin Jefferson. We got Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Jalen Hurts just made it to his first Super Bowl, almost was an MVP. Patrick Mahomes has been on the cover twice in the last 3 years, so we're kind of ruling him out at this point. And hopefully not Tom Brady in a Raiders uniform. I don't think that's going to happen. But Justin Jefferson, Travis Kelce, Jalen Hurts, all in the mix. Josh Allen, maybe Joe Burrow. There's a lot of players here. We have not seen a defensive player since Richard Sherman in Madden 15. So I'm going to ask you, Jack, first. Who should be on the cover of Madden 23?
So I think the guy that should be on the cover is Justin Jefferson. I think he would sell the most copies of the game. I think he's just a very likable player all around. And I think he would just be a fun cover athlete. But for some reason, my gut feeling tells me Josh Allen. I don't know what it is. I can't decide what in my head is telling me that it's Josh Allen, but I could just envision Josh Allen being on the cover of Madden 24, and I think that is who it will be on Wednesday.
I'm just going to say, if it's DeMar Hamlin, that's the most, ridiculous thing I've ever seen. If the NFL were to do that and, pander to sell copies of a game, I would hate Madden for doing that, personally.
Yeah.
Well, it's Roger Goodell. What do you expect?
I like the answer, Jack. Brian, you might have a little different of a point of view on this. Who do you think should be on the cover?
I'm not putting any Viking on the cover. I love Justin Jefferson. Loved him at LSU. His quarterback's too terrible for him to be on the cover. I'm going to put the coolest guy in the NFL, maybe in the history of the NFL, Joe Burrow. He's going to be the one that's going to be on the cover. You can put him in a Bengals uniform. You can put him in the slick, icy white tiger, or you can put him in the ridiculous stuff he wears to walk into the stadium. Either way, Joe Burrow's on the cover, and he deserves it. And I'm hoping this is a year that in the AFC he can show a little more. He's come close a few times, but never been able to jump over that Mahomes shadow.
I like the Burrow take. I think you got to get somewhere, though. I mean, I know he was just in the Super Bowl. I feel like last year would have been a good time for it. Right. Zach, prediction for the cover.
So I really like the idea that it could be Justin Jefferson. He's the most popular star amongst, like younger fans. I think it makes a lot of sense for Justin Jefferson to be on the Madden cover. But I think there's a really good case that it could be Jalen Hurts. The way that he plays is very exciting. Lamar made the cover a few years back, and he was in his MVP form. Madden loves their mobile quarterbacks. You have the history of Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson. Add Jalen Hurts to that list. I think it makes perfect sense. I think the cover with the midnight green would look awesome, the way that Madden does their covers. So I have my fingers crossed that it's Jalen Hurts, but if I had to pick one, it's probably going to be Justin Jefferson.
All right, I'm
actually really quickly. Can I a quick comment on that?
Go ahead.
I agree with what you said. I'm glad you brought up the uniform. You got to go Kelly Green. You got to go the old Eagles uni.
Well, it has
bring it back.
I would love if it was revealed Wednesday as being on the cover alongside like the uniform being released. That's awesome glass. That's awesome. I actually got the old Eagle logo as my front bumper plate on my car. Literally, first thing I got for it was the old Eagles logo. I'm really excited for the Kelly Green uniforms, and you bet I'm picking one up, a Jalen Hurts one up when they release. But if the Kelly Green uniform drops Wednesday alongside Jalen Hurts being on the Madden cover in Kelly Green, that'd be a really
we
nice.
May never see you again if that happens.
You may not. I'll be stuck playing Madden all year, so I would actually get Madden too. I'm not planning on getting Madden right now, but if Jalen Hurts is on that cover, I'm pre-ordering Madden.
All right, I think to me it's a two-horse race between Jalen Hurts and Justin Jefferson. I think Jalen Hurts has the accolades of being second in MVP and almost winning the Super Bowl, both losing to a guy who's already been on the cover, so he's basically first in line. I just think that the NFL and Madden probably have this obsession with Justin Jefferson and the gritty and all of this stuff that's going to appeal to the teenage audience that plays Madden. And Justin Jefferson, a bright purple cover could be great for the game. However, I think a prediction is that the Madden 23 cover is going to be both of the Kelce brothers, because Travis Kelce was a 99. He's part of the 99 overall club in Madden already. And Jason Kelce, everybody loves Jason Kelce. Put them both on it. It was the NFL's favorite narrative of the Super Bowl. Maybe Mama Kelce will find her way onto the cover of Madden 23 as well. We never know. But I think it could be really cool. You see, maybe she's on the cover with the split jersey, and she's the cover athlete, Donna Kelce. But I think Travis Kelce, even just himself, is actually a pretty good option too, considering he's been big in Madden every single year for the last 5 years. Been a 99, been the best tight end, and he's somebody who's on the Chiefs, who is a huge market that's not Patrick Mahomes. So Travis Kelce is the dark horse, but I actually do think it will be Jalen Hurts.
Cool. So let's move on. Quick audience question that I know you are all very ready to answer. Jack, I'm starting with you. Do you have any predictions for the Champions League final? I knew you would ask, so I'm going to let you know who's playing. It's Manchester City and Inter Milan.
Okay. I don't think I could tell you a single player on either of those two teams.
I'm just asking for a prediction.
I think Manchester City is cool jerseys. I've seen those before, so I'm going to go with them.
All right. Zach?
So throughout this past year, my roommate, huge Arsenal fan, and they choked the Premier League title to Manchester City. I never got to see him, get upset over it because it happened after the semester ended. But for that reason, I'm going to be picking Manchester City to take the Champions League's final.
Jesse?
Man City.
2 questions for Jesse.
Way.
First, can you name the MLS team in Toronto? And then second, who's going to win the Champions
There's
League?
an MLS
Yes,
team in
it's
Toronto.
Toronto FC.
It's
And
literally Toronto FC.
It's quite possibly the easiest name it could be. And B, it's Man City. I like their uniforms.
Everybody going Man City. I'm going to take Inter on this one just to be different. So
Nice.
Viva la Italia. All right. Next, cover of NBA 2K24. Sorry. Where are we going there? I'll start with you, Jack.
Yeah,
Who deserves to be on the cover?
this one is a lock because this one it would sell a bunch of games. He is one of the best players in basketball right now, and win or lose in the finals, this is the pick, Jimmy Butler. This man has been on a tear throughout the playoffs. He's the face. Honestly, he might be the face of the NBA right now with the way that he's played. And look, I know if the Nuggets win it all, it's going to be like a very compelling argument to want Jokic on the cover. But Jokic just won't sell copies of the game. Like I hate to say it because of how great he is, but the game just will not sell with Nikola Jokic on the cover. Jimmy Butler will sell copies of NBA 2K. I think it's probably going to be the easiest decision they've ever had, and I will be shocked if it's not Jimmy.
Jesse.
I think it's a great answer. I agree with Jack that Nikola Jokic, he just sucks in 2K. Like, he's just not the best type of setter to use. So I think he's not also just going to be on the cover himself. And they kind of want maybe a more vibrant personality to be on the cover of the game. I think dark horse option, De'Aaron Fox. He had a phenomenal year, and I know the Kings likely aren't going to sell copies either, but De'Aaron Fox loves 2K. He's big involved with NBA 2K. He's a gamer himself, and I just think that from that angle, maybe he's big in the community, so perhaps they go that route. But I think if we're looking at just somebody from the biggest market, Jason Tatum. I mean, he was in the MVP conversation a lot last year. It's been a while since we've had a Celtic on the cover. They've been known to be on the cover of NBA 2K. So I think Jason Tatum, I mean, Jimmy Butler, had this run not happened, I would have said Jason Tatum would be the front runner because it's already been Luka. It's already been Giannis. I do not think Embiid's going to get on the cover, and it's not going to be Jokic. KD's already been up there. A lot of these other guys that are going to be on it. Giannis, I mean, LeBron has had enough covers for, his whole career. So I think Jason Tatum will be a fine option for the cover this year. And I'm sure that if Jason Tatum is on the same cover as the 2K24 Legacy Kobe Bryant edition, there's just a lot of connections going on there. Maybe they'll have his "I did it for you" text on the back of the game or something. So I think Jason Tatum cover 2K24.
I'm sticking with Jokic. I think what they do with the My Player situations, you start with that picture of him as a kid who looks like a player that would have never played in the NBA. And you have to build him into Nikola Jokic, the player we know today. So you got a mode figured out. You got the cover athlete. They have to make him better in the game, like make him a 106 rating player when they don't ever go above 99. But that's what I think the answer is, and he's the man, so he gets it. All right, back to Jesse for our closing segment.
I don't even get an opinion on this.
Oh, you didn't vote yet. I apologize.
I didn't vote. So I've got two
vote
on this list. There's two guys that really stand out to me. The first one, Jesse pretty much already said everything for me. I think Jason Tatum has a real chance to be on the cover. Having Kobe as the legend cover and Jason Tatum as the standard cover would be absolutely hilarious. But the biggest thing is that, especially in recent years, with Luka and Devin Booker being on the two most recent covers, it seems that they like their stars who aren't able to get the job done in the playoffs, and they don't like to go with big men. So Jason Tatum being the face of the Celtics and them not being able to make it far enough in this year's playoffs, and all three of them never have won a ring, Tatum makes a lot of sense to me for everything Jesse said and more. But if 2K wants free money, just put Curry on a solo cover. You can't go wrong with putting Stephen Curry on the cover, let alone a solo cover. He's never had a solo cover. He was on the cover with, Harden and Davis. Thank you. He was never on a solo cover, though. So having two of the greatest shooters of all time as your standard and legend edition covers would be a really good look for 2K. And Stephen Curry, probably the most popular player of the 2010s, still one of the most popular players today. It's free money. You're going to be selling so many copies of that game.
You're right. 2017, Paul George gets the cover instead of Steph Curry. 2018, Kyrie Irving gets the cover when he was on the Cleveland and then leaves to go to Boston. Steph Curry doing this on the cover of 2K24 would sell a lot of copies. But I think if you're talking about stars who couldn't get it done in the playoffs, we might see Jaylen Brown on the cover of 24. So you never know.
Tatum,
right.
I really like the idea of Tatum being on it. I think it makes the most sense. I can definitely see it being Tatum.
Yeah. All right. I think Tatum or Jimmy, you can let us know who you think is going to be on the cover. So, our final segment, one of our favorite segments of the week, is this player better than? So, for this week's episode, we are doing Is Bam Adebayo better than? And it's going to be current NBA centers. All right. So, we're going to go down the line. We're going to start with some easy ones and then get into some more rocky territory. So, is Bam Adebayo better than Nick Claxton?
Yes, 100% yes.
Yes.
For now.
For now.
For now. I really think Claxton has potential to be better than Bam. I really do.
I think he's got potential. He just has like zero offensive bag.
That's what it is. To me, they're very similar defensively. I think they're about the same level. And I think what Bam gives you offensively is just so much more.
That's fair. I'm just saying in the future, Claxton has the potential to be better than Bam. But right now, it's definitely Bam.
All right. Is Bam better than Jared Allen?
Absolutely 100% yes.
Yes, and always will remain so.
Yes.
Yeah. Clean sweep. Yes, he's better. Is Bam better than DeAndre Ayton?
Yes, 100%.
Yes, except for the time that Ayton screwed over the Mavericks to re-sign with the Clippers. That was legendary.
Wait.
You mean re-sign with the Suns?
You're thinking of DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, I am. You're right.
Oh. He's definitely better than DeAndre Jordan, but I think he's better than DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre Ayton. Yeah, he's better. I think he's got way too much. He's too involved with a team that's been good for too long. And Ayton, even the year they got to the finals, sometimes would not be noticeable. So, yeah.
I'd also say yes. I think it's a bit closer than people might think, but it's still definitely yes.
I think it's for sure him. I think they both have a tendency to maybe disappear here or there offensively some games, but Bam was great last night, and I think overall just a better player than Ayton. I think he deserves the type of contract that DeAndre Ayton has right now, and he actually did help the Mavs out, Brian, by being absolutely terrible and letting the Mavs go to the Western Conference Final last year. So,
I didn't even read Ayton. I just read DeAndre.
All right. Well, up next, is Bam better than Miles Turner?
Yes.
Yes for now.
I'm just going with yes. No yes for now here. Just yes.
I think Turner is actually better defensively, but I think Bam is a little more complete offensively, and they're kind of right here for me.
I think Miles Turner in a different situation could be Bam plus. So
if Bam played for the Pacers and Miles Turner was on the Heat, we might be having a different conversation.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, is Bam better than Draymond Green right now?
Right now, yes. Peak Draymond, I think you could have a conversation, but right now, Bam is better.
Right now, absolutely. Like for your legacy, absolutely not, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I'm the same as Brian. Right now, yes, but legacy-wise, it's not even a competition.
All right, yeah, I think he's definitely a lot better now. Is Bam better than Jaren Jackson Jr., Defensive Player of the Year?
This is where it starts to get tough for me. I'm going to go yes. I'm going to go yes because I think that even though Jackson just won Defensive Player of the Year, I think Bam is pretty close to him as a defender. I think he's an incredible defensive center. And I think he's significantly better offensively.
Yeah, I think Jaren Jackson needs to up his rebounding to consistently be a better. I mean, look, I think you can say this year he was better. And we're watching Bam continue to play on and on and on. But being the Defensive Player of the Year is a big deal. But overall, I'd say Bam right now.
We've just seen more of Bam. I want to see Jaren Jackson Jr. continue to be this dominant, at least on defense. I need him to, step up his offensive game. So for now, I'm going to lean Bam. I'm going to say Bam is better than Jaren Jackson Jr., but this is kind of like a for now kind of thing. For now.
Yeah, I like our comment in here that this upcoming season could be the tell-all for that. I think JJJ I think Bam is better now, but if I had to build a franchise for the next 5 years, I'm taking JJJ every day of the week. All right, next one. We're getting close here. Another guy who was in the Defensive Player of the Year running last year. Is Bam better than Robert Williams?
Absolutely, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
You know, it's the common factor that almost everybody on this list so far, I feel like, has been on par with Bam defensively. But then Bam just has one of the best offensive games for a center in the league.
Right.
So we're going to get close, though. All right. Is Bam better than Brook Lopez?
Honestly, I'm going to say yes, because I honestly think Brook Lopez is just a worse version of Bam. He's a really good defender and a really good scorer, but I think Bam is just a better defender and a better scorer. I think they play similarly, but Bam is just a better version.
I was kind of surprised Brook Lopez was even on this list of being like not even being close to Bam.
Well, Brook Lopez did have a really good year this year.
He did.
Yeah, I also think let's do the Miles Turner test and put him on, in a situation where he's not playing where he's playing.
He is the defensive anchor of the Bucks. Let me just say,
Yeah.
he was like top 3 in blocks of anybody this season. And
Drew Holiday is
he
the
can
defensive
shoot out.
anchor.
Brook
of the Bucks.
Lopez did not have a burner when he was playing for Brooklyn and the Lakers. He can shoot now.
Yeah, he might be the best three-point shooting center in the league. Like
He's like that.
Could splash.
I don't have a big. I don't know. I'm not a big Brook Lopez fan. Maybe that's it.
Zach, what do you think?
This one's pretty close. They do have similar games. Lopez is the better 3-point shooter, but Bam probably has a more well-rounded offensive game. You could probably pick either or and make a case being like, yeah, this player is better than the other. So just for the sake of being different, I'm going to say yes, Brook Lopez is better than Bam.
Wow.
But I can see you making the argument either way. I do have to say, though, the fact that Brook Lopez has stayed in this league this long and was able to adapt, and he's not only was he able to adapt to be able to shoot threes, he's very efficient. He still plays a pivotal role on a championship contender after being on the Nets for so long, just kind of wasting away his years. Major props to Brook Lopez for continuing his career to this day.
Yeah, the Nets leader in franchise points, I believe, is Brook Lopez.
Yep.
So
and they did nothing with him because they weren't able to build around him. I mean, what was there to build around,
And just take a look at Robin Lopez and like how their careers kind of started at similar times, and now he's like playing meaningless minutes on, I think, the Blazers or wherever he is now. Bulls, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Give me Bam is 10 years younger. End of story.
Yeah, give me Bam. I think it's Bam. I love Brook Lopez, and I agree with everything you just said, Zach, about how he's kind of revitalized his career. It's Bam. We're getting into, I'd say these are the top 6-7 guys on this list. Is Bam better than Cat? Karl Towns.
This is going to be a controversial one, but I think yes. I think Cat is better offensively, but I think Cat's defense is so bad that I think because Bam is more well-rounded, I think like you could compare the value of Cat's offense to the value of Bam's defense, but I think that what Bam gives you as a scorer is just so much more than what Cat gives you as a defender. So yeah, I'm going to go yes, Bam is better.
I'm going to take Bam just because of the little things that make championship teams. And I know I'm boring everyone with that argument, but seriously, Cat doesn't do those things. One of the reasons that the Timberwolves have languished in either not making the playoffs or getting out in the first round. And so I got to go Bam on this one. I just feel like he's now obviously surrounded by a better coach. And he's got Jimmy Butler on him, so he's probably going to be really incentivized to do those little things. But I'll take him.
Look, it's not Karl Anthony Towns' fault that he's been injured a lot recently and that the Timberwolves front office is absolutely incompetent. I'm taking Cat as best to be over Bam, so I'm going with a no.
I'm taking Bam. I think Jimmy Butler's a pretty good judge of character, and he likes Bam. And I think I'm agreeing with Jimmy Butler that Cat is soft. I think, yes, he's a great 25 points per game as a center. I don't need my center to do that. I'd rather my center be like Bam, be a tough all-NBA level defender, defensive player of the year candidate. Karl Towns is not sniffing an all-defensive team for his entire career. And you can get guys who can score. That's the whole Heat's game plan. But for me, I'm taking Bam. I think he's much better defensively, and if he can score 15 to 20 points a game, and he's only that much worse than Cat offensively, Cat cannot defend like some of the best guys. Like Jokic would put Cat in a blender every day.
Anthony Davis did it his whole career. So
yeah, so I think it's Bam, and I don't think that's that hot of a take. I think. All right, up next we have not a center, but still a big body. Is Bam better than Julius Randle?
I'm going to go yes for a similar reason that I said with Cat. I think that Randle's probably better offensively, but like not by that much. And I think Bam is just significantly better defensively. So for the sake of being more well-rounded and making those winning plays like Brian likes to say, I'm going to go with Bam.
I think this would be super close if you let any like random NBA fan vote, because Randall's got the offensive and that's what people lean towards. And obviously he plays in New York. He's going to get a lot of votes that way. But if I'm building a team right now, I don't want Julius Randle on it in that, or I'm not going to build around Julius Randle in that way. I don't think the Knicks want him around anymore. I'm going to take Bam.
I'm going to take Bam as well. I think overall, especially what you guys were saying, it's just a more well-rounded game. It's not even about team building; it's just the talent level is higher with Bam, plain and simple.
I think Bam's the guy you want, and Julius Randle is the guy you settle for. I think it's what happened when the Knicks signed him, because they wanted Kevin Durant, they wanted Zion, they didn't get either of them, so they settled for Randle and then got RJ Barrett. So I think it's not that close for me either. I'm not a big Julius Randle guy. I don't think he will ever be the cornerstone of a franchise, nor do I really think Bam is. I think Bam's the great number two. He's the big guy down low to whoever's your number one star, which is Jimmy in this case. So I think it's Bam for sure. Now I might be a little biased on this one. Pascal Siakam.
This is my first no. I'm a big Spicy P guy. I think Siakam is awesome. I think he's an incredible scorer. Honestly, I think his defense is a little underrated. And I think that just all things considered, I think he's a better player than Bam, as much as I love Bam.
This is you're right. This is a close one, and it's your first one going the other way. I'm probably still taking Bam. I love Pascal Siakam. I don't think he's got the personality like to not like that guy, but I think I'm still going with Bam. This is another old guy take. I come from an era where center just meant a lot more than it does today. And I know Bam plays the new style of center, and I like the way he does it, but he still does the rebounding. He still does the defense. So I'm going to take Bam in this one.
And I'm going to go with Spicy P as well. I'm with Jack on this one.
Yes, sir.
I really do think, just having I really think Spicy P, he's just up there, very talented. I see his peak a little bit higher than Bam's. So I'm going Spicy P.
You already know the Raptors fan has taken Spicy P any day of the week. He brought a championship to our country, and he was a huge part of our run. He's a different player than he was, 4 years ago, but I still think he's got work to do and can keep developing, and he's a much better offensive player than Bam is, and I'm just going to take him every time, have Spicy P on my team. And he's been a pretty good playmaker this year, too. He's got a lot of assists, and he plays more like a stretch four than Bam does at the five. So next up on our list, we've got 4 names left. We are not going to be asking Jokic or Embiid because it's just obviously no. So is Bam better than Rudy Gobert?
For me, this is going to be sort of the reverse of what I said about guys like Cat and Randall, in that I think Gobert might be a slightly better defender than Bam, but I think offensively Bam is just far superior than Gobert. And again, for the sake of being the more well-rounded player, I'm going to take Bam.
This one's not even close for me. I do not respect Rudy Gobert. I know he's a good defender, but having done a few radio stats games for the Timberwolves, he just is all over the place. You can't count on him night after night, especially from the offensive end. And he's already got a better star on that team in Anthony Edwards, if not also with Cat. So give me Bam all the way on this one. Not even close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bam completely clears Go Bum for me. There's no competition. I do think at the end of the day, like I would prefer Cat as a center over Rudy Gobert. It's why I was a lot higher on Cat than you guys may have been. I just prefer the way that Cat plays. I prefer his style. I know Rudy Gobert at his best is he can be a defensive master. He can lock down anyone on defense, but it's not happening right now. He looks like a complete scrub right now at the Timberwolves. So give me Bam way over Go Bum.
I'm just going to say Rudy Gobert is the worst thing that has ever happened to Anthony Edwards' career because they had to pay up like how many first-round picks to get him and just absolutely threw away so much of their future when
that's
some
why
of us might say they already have a better big guy on the team.
It's not Cat's fault that the Timberwolves front office is incompetent. Rudy Gobert should not be on the Timberwolves. He should still be on the Jazz or just somewhere else.
Yeah, either way, I'm going to take Bam over Rudy Gobert. I think Jack laid it out pretty well that Rudy Gobert has zero offensive bag. I know I said Nick Claxton had no bag, but Nick Claxton looks like Hakeem Olajuwon compared to Rudy Gobert. Like, he cannot do anything.
At least Claxton still has potential. How old is Rudy Gobert? He's
been around, and like he's great defensively, but so is Bam. Like if Rudy Gobert is an A+ on defense, Bam is an A and also an A on offense, and Rudy Gobert is failing the class. Like
and don't forget Rudy Gobert started COVID.
Don't forget Rudy Gobert started COVID. That's a great point.
Never forget Rudy Gobert is the reason why we had the pandemic.
All right, let's not even talk about Rudy Gobert anymore. Here's an interesting one, and I think this could start a fire in our comments. Is Bam better than Vucevic?
I'm not gonna lie, this one's kind of easy for me. I think this is a pretty easy yes. I am not a big Vucevic fan. I just don't I think he's fine offensively, and I think he's fine defensively, but I don't really think he wows you in either aspect of the game. I just think that Bam is probably better at both. So overall, yeah, I think Bam is better.
All right, Zach.
You know how we said that, you want Bam, but you settle for a guy like Julius Randle? It's kind of the same thing here where like you want Bam and you settle for Nikola Vucevic. I like Vucevic is a really good player, but Bam just is better overall in what he does. So I'm going to go with Bam. I think Bam is better than Vucevic. I don't know. I can't speak right now, but Bam is better than Vucevic.
Well, he's 7 years younger, which helps. Vucevic, I don't know. He's not even the best Nikola in the league. So I'm going Bam all the way. Vucevic has never been a guy that I'm like, I want to go watch this guy play and see how he does it. And I do that with Bam every time he's on the floor.
Yeah, I think Nikola Vucevic is he's kind of aged like a fine wine. I think he's become a very good, center in the NBA. That's right around the top 5, maybe top 7 or 8 center in the NBA. But for me, Bam is a lock for the top 5, and I think Bam is slightly above him, maybe 2 slots above Vucevic in the order here. So these are our last two. Is Bam better than Domantas Sabonis?
This is tough. This one is really, really tough because I'm, like I've been saying the whole time, I'm a big Bam guy, but Sabonis was so good this year. I mean, Sabonis was the reason the Kings made the turnaround they did. He was the reason the Kings were the 3 seed in the West and actually a really good team that pushed the Warriors to 7 games. I think out of respect for the season that he just had, I have to go with Sabonis. Although this is it's neck and neck. It's barely Sabonis.
See, it's not close for me. It's absolutely Sabonis. I don't know. I just, he's Bam's a great player, no doubt, but Sabonis just has the outside game. He can take it inside, obviously mid-range, and he's a good enough defender to beat him out here. So I'm taking Sabonis on this one.
And you know what? I'm with you guys. I'm also taking Sabonis, but for one key reason on top of everything you guys said, he's becoming a member of the tribe. I mean, you kind of have to take him if you're on this show, right? So I am taking Sabonis. I do think overall he is better than Bam right now. And, he's also I wish him good luck converting to Judaism. Hopefully that goes all smoothly for him. So yeah, member of the tribe. Got to pick him.
You had to be
Mazel-
sitting there hoping nobody stole that take. That's a
Oh, big mazel tov to Domantas Sabonis, and absolutely Sabonis is better than Bam. He led the NBA in rebounding this year while averaging 19 points a game and 7 assists a game. Like, he's just an incredible playmaker, much better rebounder than Bam. I think Bam averaged like 9 rebounds a game this year, and he just completely led a lot of the offense of that Kings team alongside De'Aaron Fox, and that's why they had one of the most fast-paced offenses in the league. And I think, like Jack said, after the year he just had, it's Sabonis's title to lose at this point. So our last name is Bam better than Anthony Davis.
Do you see what's on the wall behind me? I used the wrong hand.
We've got a Lakers fan, we've got a Pelicans fan, and we've got 2 unbiased Eastern Conference fans. So Bam, is he better than AD?
Look, you see what's surrounding me. I cannot not pick Anthony Davis. And I do think that at his peak, when Anthony Davis doesn't have his off night, when he's fully healthy, his ability to score the basketball is probably the best of any big man in the NBA at his absolute peak, except for maybe Jokic and Embiid. But he's right up there with them, and he's the best defensive player in the NBA at his peak. I don't think there is any debate. So if we're talking the best of Anthony Davis is better than Bam Adebayo. Now, on those off nights, obviously, I don't really want to talk about it. But peak AD absolutely is better than Bam Adebayo.
The only problem with that take is like you're like cinching the thing to like make the weight go the way of Anthony Davis. Yeah, on his best night, he is better than Bam. You're absolutely right. And he doesn't play like that, but maybe, 40% of the time. Games played, I know you're going to roll your eyes at me. 56, 40, and 30, 36, and 62 with the Lakers. Bam is he's not going to play 82. He did play 82 once, but he's going to give you, this year he played 75. He's going to give you 68 plus games. If I'm starting a team, I'm definitely taking Bam going forward. I think he's a little younger. Davis is like 28. So, and I just like what he gives me in the playoffs, consistency. And I know not all of the injuries are Anthony Davis's fault, but I think some of them are.
I know we're talking a lot about a man with glass skin and glass bones, and he always breaks them, and he's always out trying to repair them. But when Anthony Davis is healthy, when he is playing his best basketball, this is no question. I'm taking Anthony Davis at his best over Bam at his best. We're talking about Anthony Davis, a generational player for when he's healthy, again. But when he's on the floor, generational player, one of the best centers in the NBA when he's fully healthy. We don't see that a lot, obviously, but it's kind of like how Jacob deGrom is. Jacob deGrom, one of the best pitchers of his generation, but he can't stay healthy. Same thing with Anthony Davis. He's one of the best centers of his generation, just struggles to stay healthy.
He's a power forward.
Doesn't matter. He's pretty much the Lakers. Now. The Lakers always need a center, so he's basically their center to me. Okay.
Well, it's true. But at the Pelicans, and never mind.
AD is
best moments as a Laker have been when he's played the 5.
No. I know he plays the 5. That doesn't make him a center, is what I'm saying. I think he's more of a power forward.
Okay.
Regardless, he's one of the best forwards of his generation when he's healthy. Is that better?
No. Well, yeah. The problem is you got to show up.
That's why I'm
saying you can't say Anthony Davis without saying
we're not going
healthy.
to deny that deGrom's one of the best pitchers in baseball just because he was just put on 60-day IL right before the show started. Like we're not going to say that deGrom isn't one of the best players in baseball.
I'm just saying we could have taken this list and said on their best day, are they better than Bam Adebayo? And maybe 70% of them would have won that.
Well, to be fair, it's kind of a difference between just general, is the player better than, or are we building, who are we picking to run our franchise for the next time?
Sure. You're right.
Well, Anthony Davis is just the big man version of Paul George, but they're basically the same guy. So at this point, if they are both on the court, Anthony Davis is better. However, you can't mention Anthony Davis without some but or some asterisk or some when he's healthy, when he can play more than 5 games in a row, whatever it is. So at this point, like Brian said, I might take Bam for the next 5 years if I need a model of consistency at the 5. But if I'm willing to take a risk on somebody who's got a much higher ceiling, 80's better. And that concludes Is Bam better than? Let us know where you think he ranks in the top 5 centers in the NBA. Did a pretty good job last night.
Yeah, he did.
For sure.
Look, he's a key for this series going forward, obviously, because he's got to deal with the big man. As our last title of our last podcast, said that grab your binky, Bam. This is your worst nightmare. He proved that wasn't true last night. So.
Look, I have to say though, doing this exercise has affirmed to me that I think Bam is a top 5 center in the NBA. Like
it's Jokic, Embiid, Sabonis, maybe AD, and then Bam.
Yeah,
and then
I agree.
It could be that. It could be that.
I was surprised he was only 25. For some reason, in my head, I felt like
he kind of looks like he's like 35, and he's got a really deep voice.
He also he came into the league really young. He's been around a long time. He's been in the league like 6 years now.
Yeah,
and he's still only 25. So like,
I know. It's just like, yeah. I think the Udonis Haslem thing just rubs off on him sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God, they're all old in Miami.
Yeah,
awesome. Well, thanks, Jess. We can't wait for the next segment of Is X better than all these other folks? So,
every week.
Looking forward to that one. All right, boys. Thanks. It was good. We'll see you after games. Maybe we'll get games 3 and 4 in before next week. We'll see. A lot of days off. But that is the end of Pass the Rock. See you next Monday.
Diggy on the platform.